We are.
Okay. The party barely had a moment to catch their breath before a squadron of city guards began to surround them on the docks. The members of the Six Eyes hesitate for a moment, but decide they cannot risk being caught and flee into the water. High above on a rooftop nearby, the proceedings are being watched by two figures. Declan immediately thinks that they have to be the preacher and his oracle, and he announces to the guards that we will surrender, but not before he chugs a potion of flying and launches himself after the figures. Bryn casts Detect Thoughts and asks Kolo about the preacher. She gets a vision of a cavern and an oasis and sees her mother being dragged by the hair in the desert before being thrown into a cage in an underground cavern. Declan flies up and attacks the woman at the preacher's side, and the preacher beats on Declan, but the rogue escapes, dragging the oracle with him and throws her at the feet of the guards. The rest of the group is in the process of being manacled when it is obvious that the guard are not going to be arresting the seer alongside them. Abrashmina decides that the woman cannot leave unmarked, and so she casts Guiding Bolt into the unsuspecting woman's back. The leader of the guards calls for the cleric to get a rope on her, and a magical cord is slipped around her neck, and her connection to He Who Watches is completely cut off as guards choke and manacle her. Makud refuses to allow himself to be cuffed until one of the older, more reasonable guards loosens the cord so that Abrashmina can breathe. The party is then dragged into carts that are suspiciously ready for them, including one that is equipped to deal with Makud, and we are all taken and locked in separate rooms and left alone for several hours in an unknown facility. Eventually, the old guard that built a rapport with Makud comes and asks him for his things, and Makud gladly hands over his belongings, still confident that if they cooperate, they will be set free. When the old man asks for the axe, Makud refuses, and the old man sadly leaves and returns with mages that put Makud to sleep so that they can take the axe away from him. The others are given robes and asked to chain. Declan manages to secret his magic ring away. Abrashmina doesn't want to give up her holy symbol, so the guards are ripped from her hands and beat her into unconsciousness. When Makud wakes, he launches himself the door and tries to beat it down, and after a day of beating on the door, Makud begins to make progress on freeing himself. The guards come again and drug and sedate him, and the others are beat on some more, and these guards are more brutal and remorseless than the ones that arrested them. They seem to be taking pride in hurting us. 2 days pass of this treatment before we are loaded up into sweltering hot metal carts and taken to the Yura mine a few hours out of the city. During the journey, Abrashmina and Declan overhear two of the guards talking about what seems to be Kolo's fate. The guards slit his throat and told the others that he hung himself. Neither seemed worried that they will be caught. Yura Mine is a small camp surrounding a small rocky formation, and the mine being further down in the rock. We are taken over to the warden, and when she asks for our sentence, the guards only shake their heads and nothing more is asked, and we are all taken down into the depths and given over to the charge of the prisoner foreman named Sofed. And as Sofed removes our manacles, he explains that we are meant to mine for gems for the people in the city, and he tells us all to behave, work, and the imprisonment will probably not last long, as the Ashari prisoner seems to be planning a prison break now that there are people like us here. Let's see. And so, prison montage. It's horrible and everyone's upset. Makud is angry that nobody seems to be giving them the same respect that we are giving them. And now he is not free, and no one has been following the rules that Declan said that they had to follow. And Declan is remorseful and swears that he will see Makud free again. And no daring anyone to bother him, but no one is brave enough to make Makud work in the mines. The others all eat, except for Abrashmina, who refuses to get up out of her bedroll. After a few days of this, Sofed manages to convince the guards to remove the cord around her neck so that she will get up and eat and work and all that other fun stuff. Now that she has her connection back to He Who Watches and Ramiel, they can begin planning their prison escape. A prisoner named Keisha and Makud work on making her a replacement holy symbol. And when she regains her magic, she sends a message to Sharat, and he says that they will be there at dawn. And before going to bed, she fashions a new hammer out of stone for Makud. And then the Six Eyes bust us out, and we are led outside, seeing the sky for the first time in nearly a week, free once again.
That was wonderful. Thank you, C. Have that inspiration.
Woo!
Woo!
So, as you stand in the sandy, rocky, arid desert, looking up at the stars, like fading as the sun comes up, you're surrounded by your fellow escapees, and the three leaders of the Six Eyes, each of whom is panting, tired looking, but nowhere near as bad as any of the prisoners. So fed on his knees, just weeping. You see Keisha is just kind of like sitting, hugging her knees and rocking back and forward. You see Tuspir, the giant man, and Mikin, the giant woman, are just like staring out wide-eyed at the horizon. You see a few of the others all doing variations on those three activities. Sharat gives you a moment of quiet before doing anything.
Declan will go to Sharat and say, once again, you have been of great assistance. This time we owe you our lives. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And we'll get into it later, but you owe us a little bit more than your lives.
Not sure what more we could give, but we will try.
He just gives you like a small smile and nods.
If possible, could we bring as many of these prisoners to safe passage, perhaps safe harbor, away from the city?
First, we have to get them back to the city, which might be a little bit difficult, but quite doable. And after that, well, if any wish to leave Ashar, then we will help them, but if any wish to stay, we can help find them work, whatever they need. These people have been through enough.
On that we agree.
Yeah, that was just some fucking motorbike going by.
I see our conveyance is here.
I guess it wouldn't be that hard to get away anyway.
Makud rides a chopper over the
Yeah,
dunes.
100%.
Here comes
Pair of giant sunglasses.
the tribe of many mothers coming down on their motorbikes to guide us across the salt plains.
So, what's everyone else doing? Being able to breathe fresh air for the first time in ages.
It was what, 4 or 5 days we were in there?
A week total
yeah.
imprisonment between that and the place in Ashar.
Okay.
Has everyone like made their way outside? All the prisoners, I presume, are fairly
Yeah,
eager to-
everyone's out by now.
Okay.
Those who survived, anyway.
How big is the entrance to these mines? Is it like small?
Yeah.
So it's not to draw attention?
Yeah, it's quite small. There's like a couple tents and then just like this sort of doorway-sized hole in the rock.
Okay. Makud is gonna like stomp his way to the tents, like rip them apart, and then he's gonna wail on the rock entrance with his stone hammer, attempting to try and cave it in.
Okay.
Mostly out of rage.
Yeah. Make me a
Some out of
athletics check. It'd be an easy one.
cool. Should totally get dice out.
Might help.
Dice it out.
That is one more roll than I was expecting today, to be honest.
Okay. With advantage from rage, that is 23.
Yeah, easy. You just whack at it over and over again, and eventually the rock splinters, crumbles, and the passage is filled in. Era Mine is now impassable.
So I imagine that takes, a couple of minutes or something,
Yeah,
and
a
it's
few
just
minutes.
punctuated by heavy exertion noises and heavier impacts of this
Yeah.
stone hammer repeatedly against the mine it was made from.
Absolutely.
Did the others make it okay? Maya, Thal, Diane?
Shrut nods. They're all right. They also have motorbikes, apparently. I don't know why. Like, around between like 10 and 11 at night, just so many motorbikes drive past my house. It's crazy. Yeah, he says they're all right. They feel quite awful about leaving you there, but they thought you would run with them. I hope you don't blame them.
No, it is a decision we all made ourselves.
He nods. That is good of you to say.
We should have ran them.
Perhaps it might have made things more difficult for us But now there is a small boon. Yes, our enemies now think that we are part of that mine. So we will have a window of opportunity to do things.
Are you speaking with Sharat?
Yeah, we're all around
Okay.
while Makud is
Yeah.
eating on the mine.
Okay.
So Declan can hear if you would like to respond
Yeah.
to that.
It won't be long before they figure out that we've escaped. I imagine that someone here had some faculty with magic and was able to communicate as you did. And if not, it won't be but a matter of days before the next patrol comes. So the illusion of our disappearance will not be an advantage forever. But at the very least, we have demonstrated that we are not to be trifled with to those who would seek to remove us from the game.
Yes.
Really, you thought that's what happened?
They attempted to see us buried, and now their prison is dust. And I kind of gestured to Makud, smashing it to bits below us.
They very nearly succeeded.
Indeed, they did. And there is a great deal that we four and all of us must discuss if we are to continue down this path.
Yes,
You're right.
Sharat sort of like crosses his arms and says, well, there are a few discussions that need to be had, but you've been away for some time. I need to update you on what's happened while you've been away. And then we'll see about getting out of here.
Well, my suggestion was that we begin to make our way and talk on the way.
Well, we'll see. But before we do that, I feel I should just quickly say the guards came to the Mirage to reacquire it as criminal kind such as you are not permitted from owning businesses.
Well, just a moment. Was our arrest ever made legitimate?
He sort of sighs and like
We were never
rubs his
questioned.
temples,
Never
and he says,
sentenced.
it does not matter. The guards came to take it. But I pulled some strings, called in some favors, and we, the Six Eyes, were able to acquire it for a somewhat hefty sum. Furthermore, Well, your crimes were entered into the books, but things like sentencing and whatnot were brushed off. For that, I also had to pay.
What were the charges against us?
The charges against you were, I believe, 25 counts of murder-ish each, destruction of property, larceny, that sort of thing, a whole host. Either way, it cost the Six Eyes 100,000 gold pieces each to have your bounties forgotten. You're no longer wanted within the city, though I suggest you don't pick fights. And, well, the Six Eyes, well, we put up the gold as a symbol of our friendship. Consider it a loan.
So what you're telling us is that you own us now.
He shakes his head. Plenty of people have loans, Declan. A loan is just that. We know that we are friends, and we did you a great service. We're not going to break your legs if you don't pay, because we know you're honorable and you can work it, or...
Can I insight check him?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a 24.
He's being genuine. He's not saying he owns you. He's just saying you owe him some money. But
Okay.
it's like, you know, when you owe your friend some money or whatever, you're not going to do anything to them, but you do expect it paid back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've shelled out 420,000 gold for you guys.
Declan will just nod. No,
That's
go ahead.
That's funny, Matt. Oh, the Mirage costs money too.
It does.
Never mind. Nice. Okay.
Declan will just nod his head then and say, so then is this nation so beyond justice that such a thing can simply happen in full view?
Very much so.
There were not even 75 people on that ship.
He said 25.
He said each, which we can't all have been charged for the same murder. That's not how murder happens.
Yes, you can.
No, it was like attempt and...
Well,
You
that's our legal system. Who
Yeah,
knows how they
yeah.
do things in the show.
Fine. Like you can't like charge 3 people with the murder of one person unless they all actively. Okay, fine.
I mean, if we
I mean,
all-
you did
arguing-
actively
yeah.
attack those people, and they're not going
Okay,
to differentiate because everyone's dead.
I mean, they're talking about like all of their dead men, essentially, right?
Really,
Yeah.
technically, they killed themselves when they blew up the ship. We only killed like 8 of them.
But who's going to tell them that? All they saw was blown up ship, loads of dead people, you guys coming off, and that was
I mean,
enough.
Declan still hasn't killed anybody, but nobody seems to care about that. So Declan continues to kind of just shake his head in complete bafflement. No one of the constables spoke out for us. None who knew this to be false. Any sensible man could see that these charges are erroneous.
To be honest, Declan, it never really reached trial, and if it did, you guys are the only witnesses. It would be your word against the word of more powerful people, and you would have gone down.
There are magics that could ensure that we speak the truth.
That's true.
That is not an avenue that anyone wishes to pursue, because then, such magics could reveal their own corruption.
If such corruption takes place in the city, is there no way to rectify it without simply destroying the systems that enforce it?
Well, I believe one day my position in politics might allow me to get other like-minded individuals into play and together we can start to bring down the web of lies. But who knows?
Well, I was hoping that perhaps the city guard were honorable men and women, but they were waiting for us.
The men who arrested us were following their orders. I could see it in their eyes. And they were not the men who beat us. And they were not the men who brought us to this prison.
Still, such honorable men would not have let us simply disappear either.
I agree. Either way, my war is not yet done. And if it must become a more bloody one, then so be it.
Shrek
really
just nods
thought we-
and says, "Oh yeah, you go."
I really thought we would have had to talk to you a little bit more to get you to agree to that.
I'm not agreeing to murder. But I am agreeing, or I am saying, that simply being a symbol of hope to the people is not enough. We must be that too. But we must be fear to the corrupt.
And Shrek just says, "I hope you have a deeper understanding for our position." And he just like turns and walks away to go talk to Alluri and Siki.
The four of us have much to discuss, but perhaps at home, after a meal and a bed.
So, as you say that, Makud, you feel a familiar, strange feeling at your ankle, and you look down to see your beetle, the inevitable beetle, has finally found his way to you. And you see that there's kind of a trail of his tracks leading back. And you see, following that trail is a camel. And behind that camel is a skiff carriage, sort of like a carriage designed for traveling over the sand. And it's got these kind of gold and blue adornments on the sides, rather fine looking. And it's quite large, enough for maybe all but sort of 3 or 4 people of your group. And you see that it's slowly kind of approaching the mine. And riding it at the in the driver's seat is a familiar Asimar, Dune, who gives you all a wave as he approaches and then jumps down. He sort of walks up to Avrishmina. Hello. And just sort of points at you.
Prashmina kind of just looks at him and says, "Yes? Hello?"
I brought the cart, so I figured you might need help getting back, you know?
You have a thanks.
Well,
We would be grateful.
to be honest, I wouldn't really have come, except I was sleeping in the Mirage and I didn't see you come back, and then every time I went to sleep there was just this creepy voice whispering in my head, just saying, "Follow, follow, follow, follow." And that beetle just kept coming and sitting on my bed until I got up and I followed the beetle, and then it brought me here. So
That is a remarkable story. Makud, does your beetle possess the power to speak into one's mind?
It was not your Brie?
he shakes his head. No, this voice is very, very creepy.
Well, then I suppose we owe you and the beetle thanks.
Well, I don't know. That's. I have your things, he says, and just turns away.
He has like all of our stuff.
Some of it. He leads you around to the back, and inside there's just like a couple of benches. It's sort of cool. But in the back, you see pretty much all of your kind of expensive magical items, barring Makood's axe, the crystal ball, and Abrishmina's elemental gem.
My sword's in there.
Your sword is in there.
How did you acquire these?
Oh, mine, pal.
Ah. They're a handy pair.
He nods.
Thank you, Dune. This was good of you.
Well, it's just shrugs.
So, Rob, I have a mechanical question.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I still have a ring up my ass.
Uh-huh.
I haven't unattuned to it.
Yeah.
Can I still use it while it's up my butt? Like the magic powers?
That is a question for someone else.
Not to break the mood on the scene or anything, but
Yeah.
it just occurred to me.
To be honest, I'm not sure because like the whole point of a ring is that it's worn on your finger.
I mean, yeah.
So I feel like it
has to be on the finger.
I feel like that's the case.
All right.
Or does it have to be on something that fits in the ring?
No.
All right, moving along.
Since you guys couldn't hear me until I reloaded, because apparently technical issues are the name of the
See,
game.
it muted you because you were typing.
Oh, had you?
You got muted because you were all click clacky and Rob had for the mutes, so I muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I don't look at the Hangout, so I didn't know. So everything I've said, like this entire session, hasn't been heard.
That's true.
I
Yes.
not generally mute myself when I'm trying to type, but it's difficult to transcribe and not make noise. But okay.
I was wondering why you were so quiet.
I was trying to. I honestly replied to you, Declan, but I was
Yeah.
like, "Why is everyone just talking over me?"
Sorry about that, man.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's just because like I was talking and it was just like, and I was just the idea that you were writing down exactly what I was saying was just like speech jamming me in my mind.
Okay. I don't know. Makood's grumpy. He gets on the boat. Carry on.
Well, if you don't mind repeating yourself a little bit, once he gets up here, Declan will check in with Makood. You all right? He seems a bit awkward about how to talk to you right now. Did you suffer any injury?
He mechanically no. He kind of like looks at you and sort of side on, and there's like when he says that, like there's a little bit of a raised hackle, and he just like grabs someone's stuff and just throws it behind him, looking for something, and he's going to look for his headdress until he finds it.
Yeah, you do find it kind of folded amongst like a couple of the pieces of armor and that sort of thing.
Okay, that armor is now all over the place. He like gets it and like delicately like puts it on. I imagine it kind of like goes around the horns a bit or something, and I could have killed every one of them in there.
I believe you could have. I'm glad you didn't, but if there's...
He kind of like gives you a look at that.
Yeah,
Makood,
Dylan, you did miss the last 10 minutes where Makood pulled someone in half.
No, yeah, I read about it.
Okay, cool. Just
Maybe he's glad that he didn't kill everybody.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I thought.
fair enough.
He more looks at you like that you're still hanging on to those perceptions.
Makood, I will always be the man that I am. But I am regretful that I have pushed you in a way that seems to have so compromised your sense of self. You are your own man, and your choices are your choices. You need not listen to me because I have some greater wisdom.
Sorry,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
go. No, you
No,
go.
that was pretty much it.
I imagine he's already kind of crouched to fit into this skiff thing, but he kind of like sits down on one side. I imagine there's some approximation of seats. So he's like more head level with you,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes like breathes deep and looks out. I don't know if there's a porthole in this thing.
There isn't, because but it's sort of like it's designed to stay cool and kind of dark inside.
Sure. Okay.
There's not a way to see out
He
except
looks
the back door.
He looks to one side for a moment, and then goes, "It was a long time ago when I was young, but I still remember some of the things that were told to me. That the Mardu, the Minotaur, we are peaceful. In the desert, there is not a lot of time for fighting."
I imagine the land itself wants to kill you.
He kind of like, there's a softening and like a little half nod. We all have to work together to survive. The humans never understood that. At least not in the Shah. There are those that live in the desert and they seemed nice enough. It was good to hear a want, a desire not to hurt another, not to kill another. I wanted to believe. Maybe again. I'm not sure the world is ready for, or this world is ready for, what you preach.
You could be right. But as you must do, so must I. Follow my own heart and my own code. But I will strive not to press it upon you or the others anymore.
He reaches out like one big hand to you, and there is. I mean, he was recently just wailing on a rock feature. There is a spark. There is some anger deep in there. If you look in, I imagine, and he's like, "They don't all have to die."
On that we agree. He's pressing a hand out like to shake.
Yes.
Oh,
Although
yeah,
he might be shaking like most of your forearm, or you're shaking a finger or something.
I'll give him like the arm clap and best of my ability like pull him towards me and I'll give him a little hug around. But what'll be his waist,
Sure.
He might not want that, but it's a little awkward and stiff. But it's Declan trying his best,
Yeah. And there's like a pause, like a pregnant pause. Like I think he wants to say something more, but he doesn't right now. But there is something. You're very insightful, so you probably sense that that is not the entire story. But
let it go
for now. Yeah.
We've a long way to walk.
Do I think this thing could carry me? For the journey.
Yeah,
that one camel seems like it would be pretty overexerted.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, though you know it can't carry all of you and all of the prisoners.
Sure.
Declan
there's-
presumes he's walking.
Yeah. Makud, like, there is a slight smile. It's like, I don't think the camel could carry me anyway. And he, like, shoves his big hand into more of the stuff. I don't imagine there's much more stuff of his, but I had, like, a potion.
Yeah.
And the dagger of daylight, if it's there, and things like that.
Yeah.
Toothpick of daylight. And he's just
Yeah.
going to grab them and then, like, just haul out. And possibly pull this thing when the camel collapses.
So Alluri will offer, if you would like it, to try and teleport all of you back to town while Dune drives the carriage home. Is that something she can do?
Personally, I
is-
appreciate the offer, but I would feel better for Dune's safety if he had an escort.
We'll have the rest of the prisoners.
He's got these fucking jacked minor dudes. But yeah. Dune just shrugs and says, fair enough.
They won't have a problem getting back into the city.
No. We've cleared the way. Shrak kind of grins. And you remember when you guys were going through the city to the to get to Jura's place, like the lots of operatives just kind of standing about, making sure your path was clear, dealing with anyone who got in the way.
Okay.
Can you imagine a similar arrangement?
In that case, Abarashmina will go and get her things off of the cart and change in there, since nobody's hanging out in it.
Yeah, I'm in this tent.
Yeah. If everyone's going to be teleporting back, she'll be ready. Tossing the beige sack or robe or whatever it was that they had them all in.
Yeah, just like light sackcloth type clothing. Yeah,
Yeah. The staff of healing is still
it is.
about. Okay, good. And I guess she'll go back over to Dune while waiting for the others to get ready. And
Yeah, he's just like patting the camel, and Bree's sitting up on top of the cart.
thank you for following.
Oh, you're welcome. That was just I just thought it was, creepy voice telling me to follow a beetle. You guys hadn't come back. I'd seen the beetle around. It always follows Makud, so I just.
Did it say anything else? The voice?
No, it just kept telling me to follow, like over and over. Every time I went to sleep, it just said the word follow for like 8 hours, and I couldn't get to sleep. And it was a really creepy voice. And I'm pleased that I'll sleep in the butcher shop from now on, if that's okay.
Yeah, same. It seems as though my watcher was trying to help.
Your watcher sounds like that.
I am hoping that is that was speaking to you, because otherwise I would be concerned that someone else could.
Did it sound like someone had like sand in their throat and was like a very, very scary woman?
A scary woman?
Yeah, like that sort of noise.
No, that would not. My Ramiel is. He sounds like this, and she kind of like deepens her voice and tries to do an approximation of Ramiel's voice.
That's not what that's not the voice that was speaking to me.
He would have said, "Follow, not follow."
No, yeah, it was. You shudder slightly. Here's the second one.
Oh, then I do not know who that might have been. Did they say Anything else?
Just follow over and over again. It was so creepy.
Do you think
It was a woman?
Pardon?
It was a woman?
Yes, a woman's voice.
And you don't think it was the beetle?
I figure this is happening while you're talking to McCood, actually.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I figured it was back by now. Sorry.
No, that's all good.
Wait.
I just because she described like meanwhile she was going over to see you.
My bad, missed that.
I mean, she
No
went
worries.
in, changed because
Yeah,
we weren't there when
yeah.
we came out again.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah. Come on in, Declan. This is a mystery. The voice you heard, I assumed it was my Ramiel, but it was not. It was a woman.
From the context, I thought it was the beetle.
And then Abrashmina realizes that she's never told anyone about Ramiel, and is glad that Declan breezes past that.
Sorry, wait, who's Ramiel?
That is my guardian.
Your guardian.
Like,
Do I know anything?
He like
Like
points
what?
over.
Like what?
Dune is saying like his brie, his bird.
Gotcha. Is this something to do with your god?
No, not everyone who follows He Who Watches has one. No,
Well, you're the jewel of the Watcher. I assume you have many special powers.
I believe it is more to do with my blood.
Ah, I see. Well, I've gotten quite used to strange things happening in your presence. What's one more strange thing? Sure, it's quite handy.
Not everyone who follows He Who Watches has wings either. So, I think it is something to do
Of
with
course.
that.
Well, you only have wings sometimes.
Me too.
I see.
It is something I am learning about. Yes.
Fascinating. Either way, not your friendly guardian spirit.
No.
No.
And not a beetle.
Do I think it was perhaps a bell witch or a seer type oracle type thing?
So he was pretty plain about the voice being like husky and spooky. The Bell Witch spoke in like a sibilant whisper.
Mm-hmm.
They sound like your interactions with the Bell Witch.
But we do
did
know
we-
that Jura said that the seer could speak in people's minds.
The seer can speak in people's mind.
Okay.
Have we heard her voice?
You have not.
She screamed. She screamed really, really loudly whenever Abrashmina hit her with the guiding bolts, but that's where's about all of the vocalization.
So
Like she has a 2-pack a day habit when she screamed.
Can I insight check her screaming
you may.
from 2 sessions ago? Or a session ago. That's a word I never thought I'd
I mean,
say.
it's been a week and you've been tortured
Yeah.
in a prison, but
Yeah, which probably explains why the insight check was real low. So 13.
Yeah, you have no idea if this was the same or not.
Well, one more mystery to add to the stack.
I would much prefer that we started solving some rather than adding to our growing list of problems.
Well,
But-
at least in this case, it seems to be an ally, if we are to take it at face value.
Perhaps? Or... Well, if you hear the voice again, please let us know.
Okay. I'm not sleeping there again, please, for a while.
You don't have to. It had never occurred while I slept there, so I do not think that is the cause. But
Okay.
if it happens again, let us know.
Yeah, I will.
We're still at the prison site, right? We haven't left yet?
No.
Yes.
Okay. I suggest that we begin our journey. Are we teleporting?
Well, you didn't want to. I don't think McCoo did.
Okay.
Well, if we're teleporting, then yeah, we can teleport. If not, I don't want
Cool.
to. No
You go.
splitting the party.
Right.
No, yeah.
Makud asked and if they would have a problem, and Charette didn't seem to think so. Like they had all their agents in place, so he wasn't necessarily going to go with. Not that he cares, but also giant Minotaur walking into town seems to draw the attention of everybody.
Sure.
So probably better that he teleports. But
If we want to maintain the illusion that we are still disposed of, perhaps it is best we let Aluri teleport us so that we can keep our return secret longer.
Perhaps. Although we will lose that advantage quickly. So if we hope to utilize it, we should take bold action quickly, perhaps. But at the moment, I'm feeling amenable to that. So
Brilliant.
yes,
You're okay with teleporting?
might be wise.
Brilliant.
Bryn will just shrug and I just want to go home.
Alluri will sort of like join the conversation. Say, where would you like me to teleport you? The Mirage, the butcher's shop.
Whichever is more secure, I suppose. Six
Whichever-
Eyes owns both now.
Well, we only on the Mirage in name. We consider it still to be yours.
Of course. Thank you.
She like tucks her head.
But if we... Oh,
you
ahead.
go.
No. Go.
No, you were going to say something.
No, I was just gonna make a suggestion, so if you have something to add, you should say it.
Makud was just going to ask, where are my wyverns? Where are all my wyverns?
Good question.
Oh, they are safe. They are still with Jari, in the basement.
No god took them.
She shakes her head. No guards have been allowed in.
They took our home, but weren't allowed in.
They tried to take your home. Shirat says as he like kind of comes over, kind of patting you on the shoulder. But we dealt with them, paid them, we acquired it. The heat is off for now. One hopes.
Makud puts a big hand on Shiret's shoulder. Thank you. It is good to know that they are safe. But know this, and he like just sort of leans down slightly to get more in level with Sharad. What we have done here starts a war.
See, Shirat's jaw kind of tenses.
You may have far fewer opponents, given time.
Well, it seems our two organizations are bound in this now. So whatever help we can lend, we will.
If they threaten us, if they threaten me or my family, then... And he kind of like... There is like a clenched jaw anger, and he just kind of like... leaves it up to the imagination, I guess.
Yeah. A memory of him pulling someone in two pieces. Really fresh in the mind as he says that. I imagine.
Possibly. Yeah.
So just before you'll go, Siggy is gonna walk kind of around the group, her dog's in tow, and she hasn't really ever spoken to any of you that much, but she sort of like puts her hand on Bryn's shoulder or Bryn's back, kind of mid back, and like taps her gently and just gives her a nod. You all right?
I know the cost of things now. I know What's to be done?
She nods at you. Well, I understand. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. She just turns and kind of heads away. And Alluri sort of says, so, where would you like me to take you? Do you want me to take you?
To the Mirage, please.
She nods, doing kind of waves you all goodbye and sets off as Alluri sort of like draws sigils and that sort of thing in the sand. And eventually, the four of you and the six eyes kind of hold hands, stand in a circle, and everything goes white. And then you sort of have this falling sensation before your feet hit the hard ground, and you find yourselves in the main bar of the Mirage. As you land, Tolex was carrying a drink over to Smear, and jumps in fright and spills it all over himself with a small squeal. And you see like the other two do start, Shugor and Smear, but they sort of just eyes wide and nod. They're used to a bit more of the weird stuff.
It's good to see you all well. Thank you for minding the place in our absence.
Yeah, it was no problem. Smear like feet on the table, hands clasped behind his back of his head. It was a close call, but I handled it.
It's a comfort to know we have such fast-thinking friends.
Just like inclines his head, trying to look impressive.
What time of day is it?
It is like just after dawn,
Okay.
so the sun is like barely risen.
And we're with the six eyes?
The three of them, yeah, for now.
Okay. I do have one lingering question, and I'll sort of look to them.
Yes, Sherrod asks.
Why not just kill us?
That is an interesting question. One that, well, to be honest, I can't quite speculate. On the one hand, it would have been much easier, surely, to just see you all off. But I don't know. I think the preacher maybe gets off on knowing how completely he bested you, or he thinks he did. Maybe the idea of you all living with the fact that he defeated you is irresistible to him. But maybe it's something else that we just haven't seen yet.
Those guards were there for whoever walked out of that ship alive.
So, sorry. What Sharon just said was very, very specific, so I just want to insight check him.
Yeah,
to
sure.
see if he knows more than he's saying. 25.
You don't think so? You think he just knows
people
pretty well? Educated guess. So it sounds like he's like it's the only possible thing he could think of.
I just wanted to make double sure I wasn't overlooking something like.
Makes sense.
Aha!
I am the preacher.
It's the double cross.
No, totally. Yeah, what were you saying, Abrishmina?
I was just saying that those guards were there for whoever walked out of that ship alive. If it had just been Kolo, he would have been dead. If it was just us. She kind of like spreads her hands. It is like, perhaps like Sharat says, he wants to punish us for turning against him.
Well, we were never for him.
Well, when we raided his warehouse, and you had butted heads with him before you came to Ashar, so
It's quite true.
perhaps
Well-
that is what it was about. Another message.
Perhaps.
Perhaps
That
indeed.
arrogance will be his undoing, though.
Shrat sort of looks at the two other his two colleagues and says, "Well, we have a lot to deal with, so we'll be off." But
Sharat, I apologize to ask you for any more favors, but could you said Maya and Thor were the ones that retrieved our things?
they were, yes.
Could you perhaps ask them if they had seen a crystal orb in our things that perhaps they took for themselves or were left behind, or if they came across a guard that had held onto it? It was something that I retrieved from Kolo's quarters, but was unable to. And she kind of like trails off.
Nods. All right, I'll ask, but I'm not sure. I think they are out at the moment, but I'll have them come over. Oh,
At that,
yeah.
McCoo turns around and goes, and ask them if they've seen an axe. It's about this high. And he like puts out, and it's like higher than all of them,
Yeah.
and almost as high as him or something.
Nods.
I'm sure it cannot be too hard to find.
Of course.
Who of the Six Eyes is the caster?
Alluri.
Alluri?
Yeah.
I'll just quickly say, Alluri, there is one small thing I wondered if you could help me with.
Oh, yes.
Do you know anyone that can conjure an earth elemental?
An earth elemental. Off the top of my head, I don't know anyone. Though I'm sure someone at the halls may be able to.
I will inquire. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Shrat sort of like is that rubbing his brow says, "Oh yes, one more thing. In the interest of dealing with this, I've had some people out listening, looking for leads, as they seem to have gone a little dry. And well, one of mine managed to find the location of someone I think you deem of interest. I'll have him come over in the next couple of days.
By all means.
All right. And Shara looks tired. Sort of
This was a person of interest he is sending to us, or is this the
person who
one-
found the person of interest.
okay person who found the person of interest will see us soon?
And with that, the Six Eyes take their leave.
Abarashvina kind of like stares out the door after them for like a few like seconds with like that kind of like weird, kind of shocked, numb face,
Yeah, there's definitely like a kind of moment of death silence, and then Smear sort of like looks to Shugor, and Shugor just says, "Smear Dolux, come on," and sort of like sighs and sort of takes them out for a walk, essentially, while the parents talk, that sort of thing. So you're left alone in the bar.
After a little while, Declan, if no one else speaks, will say, "Well, I feel I should poll the group. We've come up against more resistance than I think any of us expected to. Been brought low. Are we all still committed to each other and to our goal?"
Don't ask me how I know this, because I'm not going to tell you. but I know he holds the person that I'm looking for. And if I have to go out into that desert alone, I'll do it. So I think you have my answer.
Are you saying that's what you would prefer?
To go out alone? Gods, no.
All right.
Makud like reaches behind the bar and like picks up like some sort of small cask or something, or a normal size cask. And like tankards or whatever they drink from here. And he like walks back over to Britain, and like pushes a glass out to you. Do you accept it or?
Yeah, she accepts it.
Okay. He then like, while holding the full size cask in one hand, he like turns the tap, and pours you a drink, and it's like, I think it would go much easier if you take someone who knows the desert. And there is a smile.
I mean, I was going to hire a guide if I had to.
Can your guide also punch the preacher in the face?
No, and I actually can't afford to pay for a guide because I'm apparently in debt to the Six Eyes. Not that I'm complaining, because I'm still alive.
You should not be so eager, my friend, to engage in fisticuffs with the preacher. I've taken several blows from him, and his strength rivals yours, I'm sure of that.
How much time do you really think she's got?
If he's not there, he's not there. But if he is there, well, two men walk into a ring. Only one of them walks out.
My money's on McCune.
Mine would be as well. Never meant to cause any doubt there, just that this is a man who deserves our caution.
And our fist.
Certainly that.
And he's gonna like pour more drinks out for the other two and himself.
Declan will hold the beer politely.
Okay. And he'll go to Mina. Is she still shell-shocked at the door?
When you like come over with the drink, she'll kind of like shake herself out of it and look up at you and like, I'm sorry, what?
He like proffers you the glass. Drink this. It'll make you feel better for a little while at least.
Are you... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Abrashmina will drink the drink.
Are you still with us, Mina?
She kind of like looks you all over and says, my path will take me north. North is to the desert.
South?
South. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't want to question you because you're funny, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Have you been hit on the head?
By Jove, I think I have. I've suddenly become posh and weird at something. No. My path will lead me south.
Well,
is all she says by way of answer.
Right. Well, if we are to go on together, then. Declan looks a little unsure of what that means, but if we are to go on together, then there are issues that we must overcome. Between ourselves, first and foremost. There is a chance that we will defeat each other before our enemies get the chance. Because there is a lack of trust. For all what I sense to be the beginnings of affection, We cannot stand next to you, Makud, without fear of your axe finding us. In 2 battles now. In our last battle, I think each of us displayed a lack of trust for the other. We must sort these things out.
I am sorry that I used my magic to command you to leave the ship. But
I appreciate that.
I did not wish any of us to take a risk that for something that was already beyond us.
I understand, and I appreciate your apology. I do. And I understand why you made the decision you did. I only want you to know that you can have faith that I am not a suicidal man. And Bryn, I hope that in the future, you will trust in my skill and my sense. I know you knew that I was going to go down there, but it was my choice. And I am suited to what I do. If we are to trust each other and work together, we must be able to demonstrate it.
I find that interesting considering I asked you to trust me.
I suppose. Only speaks to my point, though. Neither of us trusted the other.
Sometimes choices have to be made. I'm sorry that you...
I would never deny you that choice.
Oh, I think that Bryn was trying to spare you a difficult choice, Declan.
Precisely. I cannot help that this offended me. If you do not understand, if you choose to ignore that, then so be it. But
There wasn't time, Declan.
perhaps. If you turned out to be right. But we must have faith in one another. I need to be able to take an action when it needs to be taken. If it means maybe saving one life, I have to try.
I was doing the same thing. I was trying to save your life. You're a good man, Declan. I didn't want those lives weighing on you. I knew there was nothing to be done. Things were already set in the motion. You don't deserve that kind of pain.
It's not about what we deserve. It's about what we do. Who we are.
Forgive me for trying to spare you some discomfort.
I have promised this to Makud, but I will promise it to you as well. I will stop trying to control your actions and your moral compass. But you must allow me mine. That is a condition of our relationship from this point forward.
Fine.
Thanks.
I have one goal and one goal only right now.
And I will do everything I can to see it done. Have you any words, Makud?
Makood's sitting down, pouring more drinks from himself, and he's like thoughtful, or has been thoughtful the entire time since you mentioned it, and he's like, you know, I've fought a lot of people in the Vakar, and I don't think I ever lost control. I always hit the person I intended to hit, or the sand. Not one of the people that I was not meant to. I don't know why. I don't know if it is something that...
Do I have any memory of Makud raging at the loss of his axe? Could I hear that?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if it is something new. I have to look out for. But I never remember this being... And he like turns to Mina like, "You're at the vicar. Do you think did you ever see me hit someone that I didn't mean to hit?"
No. You were dangerous when you got angry, yes, but you were never mindless. It was not Makud that hit me. It was some other anger wearing Makud's face.
Have I heard of any folk tales or anything that talks about individuals who may have become mindless?
Sounds like a history roll to me.
Can any of us make that or just Bryn?
I'm gonna say just Bryn.
Okay.
It's not really in anyone
So
else's.
16.
You have definitely heard of stories of, like men being driven mad by, magic things, making them kill their friends. You've heard stories of weapons and swords and that sort of thing that speak to, their wielder and make them do bad things. You've heard of all sorts of things.
Sickness. Making people go crazy and attack people.
Yeah, so yeah, you've definitely heard of kind of similar situations with other stuff.
It occurs to me, one of my father's favorite tales to tell was of a man who was so in love with it. I think it was a sword, changed with the telling sometimes, that it compelled him to attack. Well, I guess the story is someone broke into his house, threatened his family. He dispatched those who had attacked, and then, for whatever reason, turned on his family and killed them.
Sort of a demonic or some kind of evil
I
persuasion.
think sometimes, depending on who he was telling the story to, there was always a moral. If we were talking to particular religious towns, it was always had that demonic bend to it. Sometimes it was just.
You believe Makud's axe could be such a weapon?
I think my father liked to tell his tales, but I also think there are always grains of truth in every story. Perhaps there are such weapons that exist in the world for real, but
You would know better than I.
it's just a story my father used to tell me. But it seems
Shoot.
to fit this moment.
So far, your stories and experiences have proven helpful. We'd be foolish not to trust them.
My father told the best stories.
Makud, does this ring true for you? Do you feel that axe could possibly have held some sway over your mind?
I don't know. Rob, do you want me to make an insight of some kind? Or
It did make that man in the sewers continue attacking that rock. She like starts trying to say like the Kellen word, the Ramahraz, and she can't quite get her tongue around the Lamenton word. Until the Hemachraz, until it killed him. Perhaps. Yes, no. That is how it
What did she say? I had a hard time hearing you. Sorry.
She basically said the man that had it kept attacking that Remarez to like
Right.
the point where it killed them. It killed them both.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
I think Makud is just kind of shrugs. I think it's difficult for him to necessarily differentiate between being angry and being attacked and all the rest of the things going on. And
Yeah.
How
it's
did you
psychological.
feel when it was taken away?
it's been a week for him, which is a long time in his memory. And also, he was heavily drugged in between. So he's like,
Yeah, you're not remembering that.
Okay.
They took my stuff. I didn't like it. I don't remember a lot of what happened.
Well, it's as good a theory as any to operate on for now. But-
Perhaps we should be grateful that the X was not returned to us.
Perhaps.
It looks. You might catch a mildly grumpy face at that.
Oh man, the meta here is just so funny.
Makud, do you like the hammer that I made for you at the stone, or would you like me to try and fix your old one?
Makud like leans back a bit and is like, "Do you know what is better than one hammer?
2 hammers?
2 hammers."
One hammer and another hammer.
I will work on repairing the other.
Besides, the other hammer, and I don't know. It looks. Maybe it's on the bar. Maybe it's sitting by the bar. Maybe it's hanging up. I don't
Mounted
know.
behind, maybe. That's
Mounted behind the bar, and it's like that hammer has knocked a great many men down. Champions and challengers alike. And that awful black thing. And he kind of does that sort of main twitch thing. Talking about the slime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will see to it.
Just imagining someone like going out to the driveway in the morning and there's like a hammer shape missing from there. So
Well,
what? Oh yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was moving on. So if there's something.
I mean, if there's something that you want to establish that happens, that's fine. I was just gonna see what we want to do.
That's what I was about to do.
Mm-hmm.
Better in character.
Okay.
Abrashmina is going to take a bath and then work on Makud's hammer.
Also, Makud would say at some point, perhaps between you and Bath, I do also like this hammer.
Oh.
It brought down the mine, and it is not broken. And he like, at least I don't think so. And he like holds it up and just like squints it. No, I think it's good. And he like gives it a few like swings, figure of 8.
What's everyone else doing?
Well, Declan has a lot more stuff he wants to plan, but we can wait for everyone to do some other things.
If I don't know, if Makud was a smarter man, he might come up with the name for his weapon as Chainbreaker or Mindbreaker or something. But he probably sits there for a while and he goes, and just
Stone
like tips
hammer.
it over. Stone.
Little on the nose, Makud.
Well, there's a reason why dwarves are named after that. So
Please tell me the other one's called Hammerstone.
it is now.
I imagine it had a big stone head on it anyway. But
Yeah. So bathy things, and then Abrashmina will bring the hammer down to like kind of work on it down in the main bar.
So you guys would be absolutely shattered. Like You've been sleeping on stone for like 5-6 nights. You've been beaten. You've been worked to the bone. You guys are like, you're gonna need a couple days.
I mean, I got a long rest. I got all my hit points, bro.
Long rest doesn't cure emotional scars, Declan.
Long rest cures everything.
So while Abrishmina is like sort of before she's gone for a bath, she's up in her room like gathering her stuff, whatever. You feel like Ramiel's kind of presence behind you. You see him just standing there, kind of looking at the floor, arms crossed. He's like stands like 8-9 feet tall. And there's that sort of starlight shimmer to him. Kind of powerful arms, and you see his like, whole body is kind of tensed with like high emotion, and he's not meeting your eyes, just staring at your feet.
Ramiel?
I'm sorry.
For what?
For not being able to help. I just watched as, and you see him like sudden flare of anger, and he like turns and just punches the wall, and like you can feel it and hear it, as real as if you'd punched the wall. I just had to watch. His like breath is kind of irregular, like he's trying to hold back, tears or whatever.
I did not run because you told me not to.
Yeah, you I'm so proud to be your watcher. You stayed unbroken even after everything they did to you.
No, I was very broken.
You see his eyes kind of close in like, regret. Strokes his like forehead a second. Yes, I was too. I could not watch that part. You go.
It was worse than a temple. When I felt like I was asleep and numb, there was nothing. That connection to you, the connection to He who watches, it was all gone, and there was nothing. And I felt nothing. And I was so grateful to have it back, but I do not wish to feel that nothing ever again.
When they put that thing around your neck, it cut me off. It took me away. It was like there was an invisible box around you, and I just couldn't get close. I saw what they were doing to you, and I knew that tiny thread, if it wasn't around your neck, I would have taken their heads. But there was nothing I could do except watch. And then when you were lying on the floor, not eating, not moving, I knew that if it wasn't around your neck, I could put my arms around you. I could tell you it would be all right, but as much as I screamed, you could not near me. I won't let that happen to you again. I can't do that again.
And Abarashmina will kind of go up to him, and she hasn't tried this before, but she will try to lay a hand on his shoulder.
He's corporeal.
I am okay now.
You sure? He asks.
No, I am not.
Me neither. He bends and kind of pulls you into a hug. We will survive this. You will survive this.
Thank you, Ramiel, for not leaving me.
Of course. I never will. And that gives you a squeeze. And then puts you down and begins to fade away.
Abarashmina will scrub the tears from her eyes and then go and take a bath so she can pretend it's the bath is why her face is wet.
Okay. What's Bryn doing?
She's probably drinking right now.
At the bar? In a room?
In her room.
Okay. So, as you are kind of sitting in your room, or maybe lying on your bed, whatever it may be, you look up and you see opposite you on the ceiling, all 8 eyes fixed on you, is the sand spider.
There's a fucking spider.
Blinks slowly, begins scuttling down the wall towards you.
Easy.
It will crawl onto the bed and up onto your chest so that it's like looking straight at you.
Good spider. Please don't kill me.
You see its eyes kind of blink, not all at once, but in a weird sequence. And it regards you for a moment. And then you hear in an extremely creepy voice, "Mama?"
Oh, I'm really not equipped to be anyone's mother.
Not Mama?
I mean, maybe like an aunt or something. Okay, Mama.
I eat ants.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not an aunt.
Kind of like curls up on your chest in that way spiders do when they die. You know, where it's like legs kind of fold underneath it.
Are you still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is nice. And she's kind of like pet the spider.
It like flinches away, but then you pet it and it accepts it. Definitely doesn't like it. Like, it's not a dog. It doesn't have the positive response to being stroked, but it
Well,
will allow you to do it.
so I've decided to call you Seamus.
His good name.
That's what I thought.
Hmm.
How's the unicorn doing?
Kind of sequence of blinks again. He's getting fat.
Good. I'm glad we rescued you.
tasty.
No. No.
No?
Don't eat the unicorn. Or for that matter, the wyverns.
They are disgusting.
Oh, thank God. I'd really hate to have to explain to Makud what happened to his wyverns. But definitely not the unicorn.
Rats is nice though.
Rats are fine. We don't want rats around here.
Rats is fine.
Rats are fine, yeah.
Mm,
You can have all the rats you want. Rats are actually really bad for an inn.
like rats.
I know. Good.
Catch them in the webs.
Like perhaps out of sight of the customers.
Mm. Mm.
They just might freak out.
What is customers?
Other people that are downstairs in the bar area where all the people gather, hang out.
Bar
Drink.
area.
What?
Bar area?
The bar downstairs, like the floor below this.
Mm. You are strange, Mama.
You're a strange child.
Mm. Mm. Kind of like you hear it make like a little noise of acceptance in your mind. Mm. But the smelly one, he followed.
I'm sorry, who?
Uh,
Followed?
with the bird, stinky one.
Oh, him.
Mm.
You're the creepy voice.
What is creepy?
You told him to follow?
Yes, I was sitting on his chest like this, and I
Mhm.
said, "Follow, follow, 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 follow," because he cannot hear me as well as you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm kind of special that way.
Special.
I'm just gonna ignore that. So yeah, he followed, and he's actually on his way back.
Not here.
Not no, probably not. He's
Yeah.
actually kind of
Too smelly.
sworn off staying here. Too smelly. That's
Well, I could hear you not happy, so I told him to follow and find you.
you could hear me. How?
How can I hear you now?
Yeah, I usually am not able to communicate that far.
You did not speak. I just hear and see.
Are you able to hear the others?
No,
Or just me?
just you.
Do I think this is because I rescued the spider, or do I think it's because of space pterodactyl things?
Would you like to insight check the
Yes.
spider?
May I insight check the spider?
You may insight check the spider.
That is going to be an 18.
Yeah, you get the impression this spider definitely has some strange psychic abilities, and furthermore, you're probably the first Kalashtar it's come into contact with,
Okay.
and so with its mental abilities, kind of having the superhighway that is your mind, you think it probably is able to establish a much more powerful connection than anyone else it's met. Which is also probably why it's latched onto you. In the metaphorical sense. For now.
Yeah, for now. Well, Seamus, I'm glad you helped.
Seamus is very powerful.
Seamus is the most powerful spider I've ever met.
But this spider.
You know what? We're just gonna let that one go.
Mm,
You want some ale?
okay.
Give him some ale.
It just crawls into the cup. Crawls out again. He didn't like it.
Sorry. I guess I'll have to find better ale.
Rats is better ale. And it's gonna begin scuttling away. And you just you hear its mind like slowly, as if it was speaking out loud, it's getting quieter as it's going away, and it's just repeating the word rats over and over again. And you're sort of getting like a slight, very, very slight taste of what Dune must have been through. Rats.
Sweet. Well, nap time's over. I'll go downstairs.
Absolutely. What are McCood and Declan doing?
Good. You want to go first?
I'm happy for you to go if you have something.
Sure. Declan. Declan goes downstairs and he's going to basically just like work out furiously until he wants to go to sleep. Like he doesn't want to think. He's burnt out in all capacities, and he's just gonna like exercise and like do his physical fitness routines until he's like ready to pass out, and then he's just gonna go to sleep on the gym mats in the basement.
Nice. If you're asleep on the gym mats, you do not hear Seamus.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. What about McCood?
So I guess maybe during Furious workout, if that's all you're doing until the evening.
Oh, no, I mean, you can interrupt me at any point.
No, it's okay. McCood probably is going to sit and drink in the bar for a bit as everyone has gone away. And he's just going to be a bit quiet and maybe finish the barrel.
Yeah.
And then he is going to, at some point, wander downstairs, wander past Declan. Not in any particular, I'm blanking you way, but he's obviously focused on exercising. And he's going to, like, find wyverns for a little bit.
So you see Jari is in sort of annex to the basement. And the room has like these sort of, he's created a kind of like play area for them. They've got some like stuffed toys that they're ripping into. And you see that kind of in a macabre way, the stuffed toys have been, there's like offal in the middle of them. So that the wyverns are like ripping kind of the fabric parts of the toys off and getting to the meat underneath. So they're getting used to sort of killing and preparing food and that sort of thing. You see they're a little bigger actually, like noticeably so. They're like the size of a small dog now, like looking much healthier. The wings are fuller and flapping about more, and they sort of wrestle and nip at one another. And Jari is just kind of standing there, and he turns to you. Oh, Makud. Hello. And he puts a fist and hand across his chest.
Makud does the same. Were you disturbed?
He shakes his head. I heard some arguments upstairs, but they did not bother me. I stayed to do my job.
It was not my plan to go away for any kind of. He probably doesn't even really roughly know how long it was. It was just a time period to him. They kind of blended into one, and no one's told. don't think anyone's directly told him how long it's been, or if that would even make a difference.
We're also drugged for half of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, he kind of just, trails off the end of that sentence because he has no idea how long that was. They look bigger,
Mm,
better.
mm. They grow fast when they're young.
That is good. And he kind of is like, he like kneels down, like toys with one of them,
Yeah.
like pushes it around a little bit and probably gets like biting the finger and that kind of thing. A little rough house,
And you
something.
can definitely tell that its jaws are stronger. And he would actually mention that. He says they had very weak jaws. They were not used to feeding themselves. That is why they're playing with these toys. Strengthens their jaws, makes their bite stronger.
Um, you were doing and he like looks to another one and sort of like rough houses with that one a little bit, picks it up. I imagine it's like flapping away or something. You do a good job.
They are good wyverns.
How? And he kind of like still with the wyvern in his hand, like stretches out the other one. Like how big do they get? How
When they're-
quickly?
Well, they should double in size every month or so for the first year. And then when they are full size, they will be big enough to carry you, maybe.
I've seen the full-sized ones, and he like looks at the green ones. Their mother, she looked like a fine beast.
Yes, these are a strong breed. Good blood.
We will have to find them bigger room come a few months.
Soon.
I will see what I can do about that. I was thinking I might knock a few walls down. And he kind of like, there's a bit of a grin, and he like puts the wyvern down and
I am
gets back
happy
up.
to help if you would like.
He like on his way out, I think, sort of like hand on shoulder things. Perhaps I will call you when it is time.
Thank you, Makut.
Do they need anything? Do you need anything?
I am happy. Thank you. They are fine.
Does he seem happy?
He has like a very deadpan
Sure.
way about him, but he seems very content.
Okay.
He seems to very much enjoy working with the wyverns.
Makut has terrible insight anyway, so he'll just trust him.
But, fucking great time.
Yeah, loving it. Yeah, Makud is happy that his friend is happy and that they weren't disturbed and everything went well with them. And I suppose in the back of his mind, he's going to have to think about it. He wanted to branch out into the next property. We'll see how that goes, I guess. He's going to go back upstairs.
Abrashmina will probably be down there by now because she was going to go down into the main area, not wanting to be alone in her room. She's going to go back down into the main area to work on Makud's hammer.
Okay. And Bryn has been spooked down by her spider, I'm guessing, over this time period?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, do you mind if we take a quick 5-minute break and then
Yeah,
come
that's
back
fine.
to
Sure.
conversation?
Yeah.
Heading back up. I think I walked past Declan. Like I was down there a little while playing with them, but like I imagine he's still full on in his routine or something, and not unconscious yet.
Yeah, he'd probably go for a little while, take like a 4-hour power nap, and then wake up and take a bath. Ready to stalk the night.
Cool.
For some reason in my head that just made
It goes with the duster, you know, blowing in the breeze like a saxophone solo.
yeah.
Who's the fool that you call when there's trouble on the streets? Declan.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right,
Great
I'll see you guys.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh, ow.
I'm back, motherfuckers.
Hey, good times.
Yeah. I knew it was the psychic spider.
When the Bell Witch was written off, I was like, I did think it was the Spider.
Nah, I knew
Like,
from the get-go.
kept joking about Spider, and I was like, this campaign needs a green.
Oh boy.
I've already labeled him Spider Cream.
Spider Queen.
Spider Green. Spider Green.
Yeah, never let the spider and cream touch because there'll be a fucking causality issue.
I just have this because when he talked about the beetle sitting on his chest, I was like, should be following me. Like, I did pick up on that.
Yeah.
And then I was having thoughts about just the beetle like getting there, and I imagine like a guard kicking it away a couple of times, and then it just like continually rotating around the mine, just like making little
Yeah, that's why the
footsteps.
Six were able to defeat it, because there was about 50 guards there before, but they all ran away from the terrifying beetle. There's this like one, have you know Flanimals by Ricky Gervais? I don't know if you
Yes, I do. Yeah, the book.
There's one Flanimal that's like a butterfly, and the description of it is just like someone talking that's like, oh, look, this beautiful butterfly, it lands on your arm, and that's nice, and then you sort of move your arm to get it away, and it doesn't go away. Yeah, like shake a bit harder, it doesn't go away, and then oh my god, and it's just by the end it's like someone screaming in all caps like, oh my god, get it off. It's this butterfly that doesn't let go. It's kind of how I imagine the beetle. Like it just never stops until it reaches its goal. Unless a psychic spider tells it to.
Makud wasn't called the smelly one. I'm impressed.
I imagine Makud takes good care of himself.
He is a champion.
Mm.
Yes, but still being a cow, there is probably... And being a cow that exerts himself fairly regularly.
You're going to be a little musky.
Yeah, I thought initially, it's like, smelly one? But apparently Doom's both even worse. I guess it must be all the bird
associates with birds
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
See, now you all
But-
know why she doesn't. Abarashmina doesn't like it when you refer to him as her boyfriend because he smelled bad.
Oh,
It only smells bad to bird-hating spiders.
Yeah, sure. You made it canon.
Fine.
Sorry, I also like walked in on like the tail end of that conversation.
Mhm.
I just heard something about being musky and bird poop.
Spider Queen.
Spider Queen does whatever a Spider Queen does. Spins a web any size, catches rats just like lice. Look out, there goes the Spider Queen.
Yeah, imagine there's like go down into the basement one day and there's just like a cat-sized rat caught in a fucking web.
Hey man, that's brilliant though.
Oh,
You don't have to worry about rats in our stores.
just see like cheese wheels hanging from spider webs. All right, have we got Dylan yet? I don't think so.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm on my phone, so I've been here the whole time.
Noise. Well then, you all convene in the bar once again that evening. You expect the carriage will be getting in at some point during the night. Just for context.
Sherrod's acquaintance.
No,
No,
the
the
carriage with the prisoners.
Oh, right. Yeah.
oh, are they coming here?
No, just into the
Okay.
city. It's just more context for.
Right.
for
What's
the
happening.
huh?
Just context for what's happening.
Sure.
Um,
What time is it right now? Like super late?
No, I imagine like
morning.
it's that
probably
sort of,
like somewhere
six-
between like 7 or
6
something.
to 7, yeah, where you're like
Yeah.
you've napped and then you feel like you won't be able to get to sleep very long, but you know.
Brashmina is in the corner to avoid some of the customers that are coming in now. By now, I'm sure.
Is this place open? Open? Like, how quickly are they gonna know that we're here?
That's up to you.
I mean, we could just be downstairs before the place opens.
Sure.
Let the place run, and we have our meeting downstairs.
I just figured maybe if we were now having to hide out at least for a couple of days, it might not be open. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
They earned some money while we were gone.
It-
Smear is definitely. I don't know. Maybe there was a couple of days where they didn't make as much because of all the shenanigans. Only $683 for a week. Whenever our opening night.
it's more than we made in that time.
Well, true.
Yeah, Declan would probably come up before the place opens if you guys are all sitting there, and probably still wet and like wiping himself off. When you're all ready, would you join me downstairs before the bar opens? It's a great deal to discuss and not much time in which to act. And then just kind of walk awkwardly back downstairs.
To like the gym area.
Yeah, just the basement. I imagine it the way I was remembering the map. It's like sectioned off.
Yeah.
Declan just like on the pull-up bars, like come into my office.
Exactly.
Suddenly I'm getting
We
flashes of the
Need
arrow.
to
You go downstairs and he's doing the salmon gloves.
Totally. He does have to be Batman sometimes, which means just working out while you talk to people, you know? Look at my physique.
What's your mother's name? Yeah, we go downstairs, I guess.
He is clothed and not working out.
Did Abarashmina finish Makud's fixing his hammer?
Yeah, I imagine so. Wait, are you trying to fix do mendings on the old one?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Make me some wisdom checks.
Just straight wisdom, or do I add my proficiency as well?
You can have proficiency, sure. Just make me 3 quickly.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, the first one is an 18.
Yeah.
And then a 19 and a 26.
Okay. With those 3 rolls, I'll say Makud's hammer is back to working condition.
Yay!
Abarashmina will give Makud his Vakar hammer.
So you are super weak, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I
Very
imagine.
difficult for her to carry it downstairs to give to you, but
Oh, I thought you were working on it in the bar area.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
him, he's there. So
So
like,
she'll try to pick it. She'll try to pick it up in order to present it to you, but it's like she like turns around on the stool to try and like offer it to you.
Are you as weak as Makuta is dumb?
I have 7 strength.
I have 6 intelligence, so close.
Oh, okay, so not quite.
She's a spindly girl, and I am not a bright boy.
She is tall and pretty.
Oh, that's right.
I
No need for smarts.
So is Makud.
oh.
It's true.
Yeah.
So yes, I think he wasn't necessarily just watching you do it. Like, so he was, I don't know, maybe drinking with Brian or something, and here's like the struggling or something, and he like turns and like leans over to like help you, because I imagine you're not too far away.
No.
And just like picks it up with one hand, and like gives it a look over.
It is good, yes.
And he's like, like hand. I imagine this is a hammer that he's had for like a long time in his gladiatorial career. So, I imagine he like runs his hands over it, and there's just as many imperfections as there always was, or maybe even less this time. I imagine it was already pretty dented, but now it is not acid damaged. And he's like. This is very good. This is how I will remember it.
But I have not had to do any kind of weapon working before, so I am glad you'll be able to use it.
It'll strike down a lot of our enemies.
It will be well
sorry?
deserved.
Sorry.
It will be well deserved.
And he, I think, he's, looking at it in different lights, or like holding it out in like the one hand while still sitting down at the table. And I imagine he has the other one with him anyway. So he just like puts that one next to the other one, and they're both sitting. I imagine like the hammer bit down on the floor. And then maybe Declan comes and gathers us, possibly.
Sure.
Does Bryn talk about anything while we?
Nope.
Nope.
She's just
Bryn
Bryn.
never shares shit.
I just wanted to give her a chance.
Abarashmina is going to give Makud a hug after he takes his hammer.
Getting all kinds of awkward hugs today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine he's just like put it down to the ground, and while one arm is still down there, maybe you like hug ambush him
Yeah.
And there's like a delayed reaction, and then I think his one like free hand like comes round, or free arm like comes around and holds you. And there's definitely like time passes, and he's like, I thank you. You were the one to fix my hammer. Did you like doing it that much?
No, I just, and she'll kind of like step back a bit and say, we've all been through a lot. I thought perhaps you might like a hug. You were very upset. We were all very upset.
He looks at you understandingly.
You fixed my holy symbol. It meant a lot to be able to feel that again. You can kind of see she's kind of got both like around her neck. Like she's got like her original one and she's got like the one like Makud and Keisha made for her.
So he like notices that, and he's like, "You do know, two hammers are better than one. Two, the symbols are better than one."
That will start a laugh out of her. Yes. Yes.
You are now twice the cleric you were. And he like stands and like has both of his hammers and like shows them off a little bit.
Yes. Twice the cleric I was before.
And he like turns around, like I imagine he's standing and like swinging the hammers a little bit in a little bit of like a performance while you're laughing at him. And he like turns to Bryn and goes, You already had two swords, so you were already twice the person you were. He's still not entirely sure what you are, I guess.
Two are always better than one. 2 drinks, 2 companions. Unless you're seeing double when you stand up.
She knows. She is from far, far away, and he like leans in to the table and like picks up his drink to like cheers your 2 drinks, maybe if you pick them up. I don't know. She's from far, far away, but she is close to us.
She'll kind of clink your glass.
Abrashmina will give Bryn a hug as well.
Thank you. And
You're
she'll return it.
And then whenever Declan comes up and is just all like, hey, come on, and like before he like really says anything, Abrashmina is giving him a hug too.
Thank you very much, and he'll return it sincerely.
That's the appropriate British reaction.
I'm like, oh my, yes, Pat.
Very well.
Very well, this is happening.
Yes, when you're all ready. And he was also like shirtless at the time, so it was like a shirtless wet hug. He's like, "Nyah."
Double awkward for him, but Abrashmina does not care.
Yeah.
So we go downstairs to talk. Yes.
Yes.
So, I can start by telling you where my head is at, or for once I can shut my mouth and listen to what you all think first. What's our next step?
Well, we need to go to the desert. Yes. It seems like it hasn't been. Seems forever ago, but Dune did seem to have stumbled across the preacher's encampment in the desert, at least
So-
based off of what the Bed Witch told us.
Yes.
That he knows the way.
All of our intelligence suggests that that is his sanctum.
There was, I did not have a chance to inspect it, but on Kolo's ship I found a crystal orb. I was hoping we could have used it to track down perhaps the ghost or the preacher. But unfortunately, I should have given it to the others when they ran away. If we were staying, it seems it was seized along. It was seized with some of my things.
Is there some other way to acquire such a thing?
I am not entirely sure what it was. I did not have a chance to inspect it. It happened so
But
quickly.
you believe it was some sort of seeing device.
Could I make an Arcana check of what I thought the thing was?
It
That seemed to be what you were
tried.
suggesting. Yeah.
I can certainly try. Okay. Ooh, that is a 21.
Yeah, you reckon it's probably for communication or scrying, seeing that sort of thing.
I have seen some things like this before in the temple. It is usually a method of communication, or perhaps used as an anchor for scrying. Like you can scry on an object and
I
see.
understand.
So it is possible that other agents of the preacher would have similar objects. I was hoping that we could track one down if we had the other, but if it is not recoverable, then that is not something that we can do. But we have a location in a desert.
Do you possess the power to scry? And I sort of look to both Bryn and Mina. On your own.
That is beyond my capability at this moment. I could only ask for guidance in our endeavors.
Yeah, that
I was-
magic's beyond me.
Well, then what concerns me is that though our impulse may be to immediate action, at least towards this particular course of action, fighting the preacher on his home turf, I would argue that we are not yet ready. Our skills, our power are below his resources beyond ours. There are steps we must take to make ourselves ready before we can battle him, I believe. Fully cleaned off, and not from his butt, he retrieves the ring. If I understand this object correctly, this is one of the most powerful weapons in our arsenal. If I can get it activated, getting inside the sanctum and moving about unseen would be a great deal easier. If there are other objects, enchantments for Makood's newly restored hammer, spells to be used, we must find a way of gathering whatever information we can about this place before we go in. Attempting to coerce information from low-level members of the Preacher's organization. We may be able to find out about numbers. We may be able to... It's proven difficult in the past, even with, it's ugly to say, torture. But finding some way to ascertain the numbers within, the traps that we may face, the powers of the Preacher himself. I can tell you that if I had stood in combat with that man for more than another few seconds, I'd be dead. Without a shadow of a doubt. Did I get the sense, Rob, of any, like, power coming from him? Like, did it feel different being in his presence? Could I roll an insight check to see if I could... Like, not even, like, that's very specific, but, like, why...
I understand what you're asking for.
Yeah, what did
you can
Declan's
make
senses
an
tell him
insight check.
about what this guy is?
You're asking if there was you felt like he was, more than a man necessarily.
Exactly. Yeah. So insight, that's going to be a 22.
So when you got close to the preacher, you saw he was a man, looked human enough. There's something about the way he held himself and the way he moved. Like normal people shouldn't be able to move that fast.
Right.
It's augmented somehow.
Gotcha. I've fought possibly hundreds of people in hand-to-hand combat. And this is a man who was on another level physically. The speed of his movements, the accuracy of his strikes. Wakud, you and Bryn, you are warriors both. You understand what I mean when I say that this man was superhuman in his actions. Super mortal. If that makes any sense.
And do you think having more information will be the key to taking him down?
The four of us together in a one-on-one fight, maybe we could defeat him. Maybe. But more than his physical power is the number of bodies he commands, the influence he wields. It was always our goal to attempt to weaken that, but we can no longer act openly, it seems, if what Sherrod tells us is to be believed. So having more information gives us a path, potentially. Unless he suggests walking straight into the lair of this man and the pinnacle of his power and expecting to defeat him there and all his men. The ring may help us do that, at least myself or whoever chooses to wear it. But we will need more tools. We will need tools, information, power, allies. That is my honest belief. I don't think that the four of us, even the 6 eyes in force, I'm not sure, could go into that sanctum and raise it to the ground.
Not sure how we win this then.
I'm sorry, it's really hard. Dude, I can hear your doggy chewing on his.
Oh.
It's just like, to me, I'm just imagining like Makud with like a salt lick, being all like,
Yep.
sugar
Oh, man, that must sound so gross. I'm so sorry, guys. You want to see?
So
He looks
it's
really
Not that
cute.
bad. It's just
No.
like loud nibbling in the background.
Yeah, I'm able.
Shin bone noise, that's what that is.
Mommy. Mama.
Mama.
Oh, it is a cute little pupper. But anyways.
Is there something you see, Mina, that we don't?
I see
You
everything.
just spider in the corner just eating a fucking rat hole.
Do we know that the preacher is at this camp in the desert?
We
Is that-
don't.
He was in the city a week ago.
Can we go there, smash whoever is there, take whatever is his, ruin his plans and leave?
We can. At this point, I'm open to any course of action that isn't blindly suicidal.
Unfortunately, I think the only way we are going to get any leads is if we find this Tambrin that Jura spoke of.
Wasn't there meant to be some guy coming? Sharad's man?
Yes, perhaps he has a lead for us to follow in this regard.
Perhaps. Well, I am going to spend what little day remains at the halls, if there's still time to visit them. I don't know, are they still open? Are they a 24-hour gig, or do they close at a certain time?
It's a college campus, so people live in the halls. The library's 24 hours, but you remember last time you were there, they wouldn't let you in.
Right. What was the issue there? You have to be a mage of some kind, or you have to be a member, or accompanied by a member?
You just weren't. It was basically like you can only really get in if you're, sponsored by someone from there, or they know who you are. And
they don't perform magical services for money?
No.
Okay.
At least not the money that you're bandying around, maybe. Like if a shell came in, probably.
I mean...
Yeah, somebody came and put Makud to sleep.
Yeah.
That's true. Not that he really remembers or knows that, maybe.
Yeah.
It might come to him.
To summon an earth elemental.
Yeah. They wouldn't like what.
We did tell you about the Lutomancer that is staying in the Bakar, if you are set on that.
Oh, the sand guy?
No,
The
pot
pot
guy. Clay. Which is of the earth, I suppose. Makud also told you about sand elementals in the desert, which are also of the earth. But...
Right. Well, I guess I will go to the Vicar then?
But before that happens, before you leave, you hear some light footsteps on the stairs. And Smear kind of pokes his head around the door. And he says, "Hey, bosses, there's some guys here to see you."
Show them inside, please.
Down here?
Oh.
No.
Right, we'll come up, sorry.
Oh, yeah. He, turns around, scampers back out.
I forgot what room I was in.
It has been a very long week.
Is this around the time that we were either expecting Sharat's person or the slaves to be back?
Slaves probably won't be back yet. Sharat's guy said next day or two. So it could be Sharat's guy, but...
So we don't know what's waiting for us upstairs.
It might be Sharat's guy.
Yeah.
Did you say some guys?
Some guys here to see you.
It's hard
Oh,
to
some
tell.
guy is, or like guys.
Some
Plural.
guys.
It's hard to tell with that accent.
I don't make the rules.
Abrashmin is going to head up.
Oh,
You see Maya and Thal.
Abrashmin goes up and gives them both a hug.
Maya hugs her back. Thal stands like a piece of wood, just very uncomfortable. And Maya goes, "Hey, you all right? Heard you had a rough time." She pats your back. You smell like cloves, and sort of like the city a bit on her.
Doing better now that we are home.
Yeah, good. Heard you you and the bosses roughed those motherfuckers up.
Yes, they got what was coming to them.
Damn fucking right they did. Anyway, you're asking about the stuff we brought back for you?
Yes, there was a crystal orb that I had found. But
Right.
about this big, and she gestures.
Yeah, we didn't see anything like that. We got all your stuff out the chest. There was one guy carrying around your staff, but we punched that guy in the balls and took it. Also,
Thank you.
it was one of the bosses, I think, he had some of your clothes. I don't know what he was planning on with them, but we made sure to grab those,
I could have gone without knowing that. Just mine?
Yeah, just yours.
Abrashmin shakes her head.
But it's all fine now. You've got them.
in Miss Makud's loincloth because they thought it was a curtain.
currently like hanging as a flag somewhere. But she goes, yeah, I think we got as much as we could. It was pretty much everything there. I don't know if we managed to get all of it, but I think Eli's coming around later, so he'll probably have more information on all this stuff than we will.
I do not believe we have met Eli.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Insight check?
Sure.
Abrashmina's radar is off today. That's an 11.
He's good.
All right. Good to know. But thank you for getting our things. You did not have to come all this way to tell us, but
We wanted to make sure you guys were all right. You know, make sure everything was okay. Anything we could do.
I'd like to insight check that, actually.
Sure.
Natural 20!
She's genuine.
Well, that's good to hear.
She just sounds like a bitch.
We appreciate your concern and your aid. You've been invaluable allies.
Of course. Val's just like beaming at you all. Well, I think we're gonna have a couple of drinks and then head if you care to join.
Of course, on the house, as always.
My favorite phrase. Maya grins. Pulls up a seat at the bar and starts shouting at Smear.
I do expect this will begin to pay back our loan, though. Declan will attempt a joke.
Hey, that's none of my business.
At the very least, it'll be a way of paying you back for getting our things.
Val just like smiles and Maya shrugs. It's just the job.
But not necessarily one that you had to do.
It's fun.
You are very modest sometimes.
And she just like begins howling with laughter, shaking her head, and just turns back for a drink. She disagrees.
Right. Well,
Everyone
Abrashmina
has-
will sit and have a few drinks with them.
Yeah, definitely. And they're great fun to drink with. Like Val pretty much stays silent and just sips one drink for almost the whole time. But he looks very happy. It looks very comfortable around Maya. And she's got like a hand on his leg, just sort of, making sure he's okay. And she's like a great raconteur, just telling these hilarious, horrible stories full of expletives and often ending with people being punched in the balls and whatnot. She caters to a very specific crowd, and it's not that highbrow, but very entertaining people to drink with. But unless anyone would like to have any more specific conversations with them, we can move on.
Good at some point to Thal is like, did you see an axe about this high?
His eyes go wide and he says, "Oh, no, we didn't see any axes."
They must have taken it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Makud, I didn't know.
You are not to know, but they ought to pay for it.
If I find it, if I hear about it, I'll let you know. I promise.
Good on you, friend. And he like claps him on the back.
Just like bang, bang, takes him on the back. He hits against the bar. Like dude is skinnier than average Mina.
He's a monk. Roll evasion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not taking damage from it, but
sure.
It's got slow fall.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, he has 5 strength.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah. He has some fucking stats. His
Makoud
hit
maybe
points are-
would pull back a little bit then if he noticed he was, quite that spindly. But
I mean, he's 20 decks, so he
Sure.
gets by.
sure. If you find any axe, really, or hammer, or anything I can use to kill another man, just,
Right.
you know where I live.
Who is interested in making himself 3 times the fighter that he was before? Abrashmina says, sounding just slightly little tipsy.
Thal's eyes go wide, like he doesn't really know where to look with two people talking to him at once. And so he says, "Well, there's some good blacksmiths, so we could speak to them and make you something, maybe." I don't.
I mean, I don't. I already have these two, and he beckons to wherever he's put the hammers. They're just casually lying somewhere. I'm more interested in taking things from them.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea that Makoud just leaves the hammers wherever and no one dares touch them until he comes back for them.
Imagine
Totally.
there's like one time where it's like 2 feet away from the bathroom door, so anytime anyone opens the door, it just stops.
Yep, clunk. Oh, damn it.
Damn it! But no one moves them because they're too scared / too heavy.
Oh no, there's Mina just pushing against the door, no. I've been.
Yeah, but yeah, you can while away several hours drinking with your friends. Are you going to do anything else this night, or would you go to sleep and wait till morning?
It doesn't sound like they had a very good night, and it doesn't. Makoud didn't really seem to get much sleep in anywhere. So,
Well, it's still the same day that you've escaped.
sure. In that
So you
case,
haven't-
Makoud will go to
yeah,
bed.
You haven't actually had like a night's sleep since the fight.
I mean, mechanically, I am fine, but mentally, maybe not.
Yeah.
So,
You go
Oh.
ahead, Sarah. Nope.
sorry, I just wanted to ask: Did anyone come in, or is this off limits for now? Is it closed? There's a closed sign on the
It's up to
door.
whether or not you closed it.
Okay. I don't know. All our staff left for a while, so I presume maybe Smear might have put it. Okay.
I assumed we were leaving it open. That's why we were in the basement.
But we're not anymore. We're drinking with friends.
That's true.
Either way, Makoud doesn't care, and he will go to bed at some point, unless someone tells him that we're going to go pulverize somebody's face.
Well, so Declan will inform the group. My plan is to hit the streets tonight. I don't require any of you. I don't plan on getting into any trouble. I'm just going to see what I can learn. But I felt I should tell you. If I'm not back by morning...
What was that you cut out?
Oh, sorry. If I'm not back by morning, maybe send someone out for me.
Stay safe. Have fun.
I always do.
Abrashmina will cast Shield of Faith on you before you go out.
Oh, thank you.
That will last 10 minutes, but she's going to concentrate on it while she has her drinks.
It's the thought that counts.
This isn't the campaign where we're all meant to stick together, right? See? Okay.
This one technically is, but no,
Okay.
no.
it's not.
That's the other one. That's the other one. Yeah.
Are you sure? I could have
Yeah.
swore.
Better me.
I
Actually, no. Instead of Shield of Faith, I forgot I had this one prepared. I will false life because she always has
Mm.
life. And I can do it at higher levels. And since we are going to bed, she will do it at a 4th level. So that
Nice.
will be 15 plus 17 plus 4, 21 temporary hit points to Declan
Damn, girl.
for
For
an
how
hour.
long?
An hour.
Guess who's got 80 hit points for an hour?
Yeah.
Like a fighter.
So, what is Declan doing?
So he's going to go check out the dock. He's going to check out the dock keeper's house, look at the warehouse. Generally, he's not going to wear his usual outfit. He's going to get whatever street clothes he can get together. He's trying not to look like a vigilante.
Right.
And he's just going to see if he can find anyone to follow, to listen to just see what the buzz is. If he hears anything about us, about the preacher, about anything related to what's been going on.
Make me a stealth check and then an investigation check, please.
Okay, just give me a second. Because I'm on my phone, I walked away from my dice, which was a bad idea. Stealth check is going to be a 19,
Okay.
and investigation is going to be also 19.
Okay. So you first head to the docks and you find that there is still like a little kind of haze of smoke sitting on the ocean there, and like ruined wood just floating all over the place. You don't see any movement at all. It actually strikes you as slightly odd how little movement you see in this area. The warehouse, when you get there, all the lights are off. It appears to be asleep like the rest of the city.
There's no guards.
No guards outside.
I'm going to use my magic mask to make myself appear something other than human when I like get triggered for the purpose of triggering magical sensing stuff. I should probably look up what that spell does exactly.
That's exactly so. I think it allows you to be hidden from.
It does a couple things.
Was
sensing
this Nistel's magic
Yes.
aura?
Mm-hmm. I still really do need non-detection. That will be pretty useful. Change the way you appear.
Super high spell.
Yeah. It's like a 3rd level spell, I think.
Non-detection's 4th at least, I think.
Is it?
Change the way the target appears to spells and magical effects such as detect magic that detect magical auras. You can make a non-out.
Oh, it's 3rd.
Yeah, whatever.
It costs gold. That's what I was thinking. I knew it came with
Yeah.
a cost.
Yeah.
You can change the way the target appears to spells and magical effects that detect creature types, such as a paladin's divine sense, or the trigger of a symbol or glyph spell. You can choose the creature type and other spells and magical effects.
There you go. Okay, so I will make myself appear as a beast. And I will attempt to just scout the warehouse a little closer, see if it's been abandoned or whatever, see how close I can get, like just keeping my eyes open as much as possible and seeing if anyone picks up my being there, that kind of thing.
Okay. So it's kind of hard to see because there's no windows at ground level. Like the only ones are very high. You can kind of peer through cracks in the.
Can I scale up the wall a little bit to try to get a better look at inside?
You can try. Make me an athletics check.
Ooh. Pretty good. 24.
Okay, yeah, you can sort of climb your way up some of the higher buildings, get yourself a head start, and yeah, you can get up high, kind of peer down into the windows. It's very dark inside, and it doesn't look like there's any movement at all.
I think I'm going inside. We can role play out this whole thing if you want, or like up to you. Like you can just tell me, like roll a few dice and this is what Declan finds. I don't know because I think I'm going in to the place.
Okay, how are you going in?
Well, I'll check whatever window I'm closest to for traps first of all.
Okay.
Investigation of 17.
Okay, no traps. Though the window doesn't have a way to open.
Okay.
Glass, so you'd have to smash it if you wanted to get in.
Could I try to use the tools that I have on me to, rather than smash it and make a bunch of noise, to like actually just cut it out of the wall and pull it out?
I mean, I don't know if thieves' tools would be able to do that.
Okay. I mean, I have like acids and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Acids don't work on glass.
yeah.
True.
Plus, anything you do, you reckon, like...
Can I get onto the roof of the warehouse?
Yeah, you can get onto the roof.
On the roof, are there any doors or anything like that?
There's no doors on the roof. You remember, though, that there is like a...
Sewer entrance, right?
Pardon?
So, I'm sorry, say again?
You remember that there's like higher levels inside the balcony, but they only came up about halfway the height of it, like the maximum height of it. So you could maybe go around and get in at that level, but you're not really sure.
Well, I'll give that a shot if that seems like the most likely thing.
Yeah, so you can kind of head down that way, and you kind of find that there's like an outside section of stairs on the far side of the building that you weren't on that leads up to a side door about sort of 40 feet off the ground.
Check the traps.
Okay.
18.
Okay, yeah, the door isn't trapped.
Is it locked?
It is.
I will attempt to open it.
Okay, this will be DC 19.
I did not succeed.
Yeah, so despite this building built to look old, the locks are new and well made. And
it's a stone building, right?
It's the bottom part is stone, the top is like the roof is wood.
Okay. Really wish my ring worked. All right. I guess that's all I really wanted to check out. Did I see anything at the dockkeeper's place? Was he still there?
So if you like swung by and had a peer in his window, he wasn't there.
Okay. Did it seem like anyone had been there recently?
Make me an insight check quickly.
25.
It looks like no one's been there for maybe a couple of days, but not any long time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That probably takes me a few hours, and unless I like see or hear anything on the road in terms of chatter, I just head back.
No, the city seems very, very quiet at the moment.
Okay.
But you all get to sleep, and you wake the next morning, bathe, have breakfast.
Did we actually open, or did we just kind of keep it closed doors? Everybody's hanging outside things.
You can make that choice, see. Oh, Bryn.
Vote.
I think Bryn probably would have left pretty early in the evening.
What, to go back upstairs? Or
No, just left the bar.
Oh, okay.
And she definitely would have taken a bottle of the best Callan whiskey that we had with her.
Okay. That Makud will bid you farewell, and Dan will be like, "We're trying to keep a low profile. Why would no one close this damn bar?"
This is not the question. Is the sign on the outside saying open or closed?
Closed, I
Closed.
guess, because Abrashmina wouldn't have made that determination by herself, and everyone else is fucked off.
Okay.
Makud's still there. It's just
Okay.
Makud honestly would know.
Yeah, exactly. Like the two people who wouldn't choose to open the bar on their own are the ones that are left. So, yeah. So, Abrashimina would probably like stay down, in the bottom of the bar for as long as there were people down there, and after everybody else has gone to sleep, she probably would have tried to go sleep and probably fail, and also burn the clothes that she had been wearing that supposedly some captain had been messing around with. So those clothes are dead to her now.
He was only going to. He never actually.
No, that's
Just,
she doesn't know that.
That doesn't make it any better.
Doesn't make it any better. Those clothes are gone now.
Dead to her.
Dead to her. Yeah.
Well, anyway, morning comes. Some of you look more tired than others. Did Bryn make it home?
She was gonna go to the butcher shop.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wanted to talk to Siggy.
Okay, absolutely. So you see, like, it looks like Siggy is kind of maybe getting ready to like head to bed, but then sees you and like changes course for the bar. And you see, like, she was kind of going up with Erie, but sort of tells her to go on without her and pulls up a stool at the bar.
I thought you could use a little taste of home.
You see her like face splits into a wide grin, and Uvia like was about to start making her a drink, like kind of shrugs his shoulders and like puts his stuff back and knocks off for the night. That's yeah, that's kind of you. Siggy grins.
It's
Like, reaches over the bar and grabs 2 glasses.
it's not quite as good as home, but it's the closest we can get here.
It's the best part of home.
I wanted to thank you for coming and helping us.
She shrugs. You're part of the team now, I suppose. Just what we do, I suppose.
How do you do it? I mean, how do you reconcile everything that happens here?
I was sold into slavery when I was, I think, 13, maybe. But they were going to make me a comfort slave at first. But I beat the shit out of everyone that they tried to make me fuck, so they put me in fighting rings instead, and I did well there. Until after a little while I got sick of it.
Everyone wants a Callan woman until they have to break a Callan woman, right?
She grins. Exactly. So when Sharat and Daluri helped me out, we all escaped. It was good, but you know the things those fuckers did. Yeah, that doesn't go away. Doesn't ever. You think you can bury it down deep, and you can. Just ignore it. You know, live your life as it is now, but every so often, you know, when it's dark, when you can't sleep, when you're walking on your own, when you're drinking on your own, always comes back, you know, the memories. And you can't escape that. It's just how it is.
I think the hardest part is just how accepting everyone is of it.
It's, yeah, well, it's like a fucking disease. She like drains a glass. You know, you'll be all right, I think. and we'll always have your back. But, well, the memories aren't going anywhere. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw some things that, I mean, they weren't even things that happened to me. And I don't know what's worse. Things that I saw or the things that I experienced.
I'll tell you this right now. Every time I get punched in the face or stabbed or cut, the wounds heal. I have memories of the pain sometimes, but I got memories of injuries that I got in bar fights too. That's okay. That I can deal with, but the shit I saw when I was in those pits or when they were trying to make me be a fucking comfort slave. Yeah, that shit doesn't heal. Those scars, they don't fade.
It's good to talk to someone from home who actually fucking gets it.
Yeah, likewise. I used to think about going home, seeing it all again, but I just couldn't face it. Seeing all those people, not knowing what's happening, what I went through. I just couldn't do it.
When I was traveling south to make my way here, I just, like, every step I made just felt like I was moving farther and farther away from home. I mean, everything was destroyed even before I left. I don't even know where home is. I was at the bottom of that fucking mine. I just wanted to go home.
I was lucky. I found some friends. I found partner. It's like made a new home. Yeah, sure I miss cold air, strong booze, but you know, I wouldn't trade this in for the world. Because it's the only thing I've ever had. Before that, I had bruises and bad memories. And that was it. I don't know if it'll be the same for you. You got more stake in this than I have, but wherever you go, I'm right fucking there with you.
Thank you for the distraction, friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just slap you on the shoulder. You get your hands on any more bottles of that, you let me know, right?
You'll be the first to know.
She grins and gets up from her stool. See you later, Bryn.
Have a good one, Siggy, and I'll still go home.
You see her as you leave, her dogs pad up to the room behind her, clicking on the stairs. So, morning comes.
Just one more.
Oh god, I knew you were gonna do it. I imagine you'll get up, hot breakfast, and maybe some bathing, depending on if you're shit-faced last night or not. And then finally, there's another knock at the door. Shugo kind of gets up, goes over and opens it. And you see a very strange-looking man walk in. He arrives with the smell of sun-warmed skin and something spicy and herbal. He's a tiefling, color of the sun itself, like this vibrant golden yellow, a handsome face and a pair of curled horns that wrap around pointed ears, like a ram's horns. He has thick, full lips and high cheekbones that sit beneath golden, pupilless eyes. His right jawline is marked up with this faint tattoo that crawls up the side of his neck, and it's only very slightly darker than his skin tone, and it's very subtle, despite its size. He wears a few gold necklaces and has several gold rings situated like at various intervals along his horns. He wears this white shirt open about halfway down his chest, over which he has this billowing purple overshirt imbued with these lilac and blue triangular kind of magical looking patterns. He kind of saunters in with an easy grin. And he says, "Well, hello there. My name's Eli. I've been sent to come and see the famous virtues."
Well, you are most welcome to the Mirage, Eli. I'm sorry, what did you call us?
Well, folks around town have been calling you guys the virtues.
Declan kind of smiles a little bit.
But
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm here for, on Sharat's orders.
And you are a member of the Six Eyes.
I am indeed. Pulls up a stool, and like Smear kind of pours him a drink without asking what he has. Maybe this man's been here before. And he says, I don't know what I was expecting, but this wasn't it.
You disappointed by the surroundings of the company?
I'm disappointed by neither. I was just expecting you to be a lot more boring.
Boring?
Well, yeah, the rumors are always far more exaggerated than the truth, but I actually think they're not quite doing you justice.
So does that mean people think we're boring?
I wouldn't say that, just more boring than you are.
Well, what can we do for you, Eli?
More what I can do for you, i.e., little ratty scumbag by the name of Tembrin.
We are
You know
familiar.
where we can find him?
Well, I know where he is right now and where he's going to be all day.
Real quick, out again. Who's Tembrin again?
The messenger.
Purported to be
preacher.
pretty much the only guy who knows exactly
Right.
how and where the preacher
Right.
is located.
Got it. Tell us where we can find him.
The fantastic pirate Captain Kolo was not exclusively a man of the sea. In fact, he had a small business right here in Ashar, a frankly disgusting inn named the Scumweasel, in which many shady deals were done, and acted as a sort of safe house for Kolo's friends, among whom a certain Tembrin. He's there now, staying, helping them clean up the mess you all made. Which, by the way, he like kisses his fingers in that sort of okay motion. Beautiful. I am a fan.
Of which part? The part where dozens of people were killed help as they were chained up helpless, or the part where that's really the big takeaway from that one?
Well, I was more talking about the explosion and killing the bastard, but sure. And he doesn't seem unfazed by the sort of you taking the moral high ground on him. So, you want to know where Tambrin is? He's there. I can take you. I could draw you a map. Whatever you fancy. But
How did you come across this information?
taps his nose, which is the British meaning, not the American meaning, and gives you a bit of a wink, but doesn't say anything else.
Well, if Sharat vouches for you, then I suppose we are obliged to accept your information on so few conditions.
You know, you really shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
I believe I just accepted your gift
Yes.
with thanks.
That is Declan's way of accepting help.
Remind me never to buy him a horse.
Rather like horses.
And Eli kind of finishes off his drink and says, well, Tambrin is a early bed type, so you're probably better catching him while he's in bed, trousers down and all that.
Do you know how long he'll be there?
Yes. Well, roughly. A couple days. Though I'd act sooner rather than later, to be honest. Never can tell with these sort of people.
Understood. How
Should
about
we
thanks,
go-
Eli?
Should
ahead.
we go now?
There you go now. But if you go to the scum weasel and try and pick a fight with Tambrin, be prepared to pick a fight with a good 5-6 of Colo's big ol' men.
Well, we believe Kolo to be dead now. Who do they
Oh,
serve?
Colo's dead, but well, he had a few that were on shore leave and
So they're isolated and alone? No longer working for the preacher?
well, I believe they're working for the preacher still, but either way, they wouldn't risk anything happening to Tambrin while they're there. They know what the preacher does to people who fuck up around him.
I see. You have our thanks.
You said that.
And then I said it again.
A map then?
All right.
Or
And I
are you
sighed
going,
a bit.
or do you want to show us the way?
Well, I mean, if you're offering, I'm always up for punching some holes in some arseholes, but you know.
Well, it's difficult to get a bead on your enthusiasm, friend.
Well, let me put it this way. If any of these fuckers work for the preacher, then I want to put them in the ground.
You have some personal vendetta
Don't we all?
against the preacher. Well, suppose I'm asking yours.
I'm not in the habit of telling my life story to strangers, so
Fair enough. Again, if Sharat vouches for you, you're welcome in our company as far as I'm concerned.
that's kind of you. And I don't mean to cause offense. It's just, well, everyone's got a sad story, and if I start sharing mine, then I just like to be careful who I tell things. I'm sure you understand.
We do. And you'll understand if trust isn't of a vital importance to us and the people we operate with.
I understand. If you don't want me there, I understand as well.
Dagon will put his hands up and say, no. If you're skilled and you're loyal to Sherrod, then we could use your help.
Yeah, I'm skilled. And I'm loyal.
Do you possess any magic?
I do.
What
Dagon
kind?
kind of shrugs and, what do you?
Rob opens character sheet. Yeah, that's a good one. So he sort of slowly gets to his feet. You need a demonstration, all right? I suppose that's fair enough. You are, after all, coming into a potentially life-threatening situation with me.
Glad you understand.
Sounds half asleep.
No, he's more got a lazy drawl, trying to seem overconfident, like it ain't no thing. And so he just like lifts up a hand and kind of clenches it in a fist, and you just see like his whole body burst into these kind of black flames. And they sort of fly out around him and then immediately begin to sort of spread around the room, like darkening all of the torches and lamps that you have lit, and kind of spreading in this kind of web-like pattern around him, so that the inn is suddenly like really dark all around you.
Like, can't see anything, or it's very good? Very, very
Dim
good?
light for
Gotcha.
mechanical sake.
Okay. Impressive.
Thank you, he says, and his voice has this like huskier, breathier quality.
I'm sure it'll be quite useful.
He nods. He says, I've got a few more tricks up my sleeve, but I'm afraid I do not want to waste them on demonstrations.
No need to spend your energies further.
And you see his, like, the shadows drop. Kind of licks his lips slightly. Like, flashes a wink at Bryn and Declan. And then turns back and has another sip of his drink. Anyway, we should expect physical, some physical resistance, a little bit of magical resistance, but nothing you folk can't handle, especially with the help of a dashing young man like myself.
That I'm sure. What time of day is it right now?
It's pretty much first thing. I'd say like 8, 9 in the morning.
Okay. Well, I have one errand I would like to attempt before we do anything else. Could you four allow me the day? You can come with me if you like. I'm going to go see if I can find an Earth Elemental again. Thinking of trying the Vakar. You said there's a Geomancer there?
I mean, there was.
A
It's been
Lutamancer.
a while
Lutamancer.
since we saw him.
That is
The
where
only-
he was planning on staying, though. He said he was going to be there for a few months. That's
Also, as those dark flames like came towards Makud, he kind of like wafted at them a bit.
Ugh. I would certainly love help fighting an Earth Elemental. I'm not sure I could do it myself. I think I have to defeat one in Mortal Kombat, but I think I can help.
Well, then it sounds like we should go with you.
Didn't that man with the pot say we were to fight something? When was that again?
It
A
was
giant pot.
It was supposed to, yes, a giant pot, and it was supposed to be a month, but that was 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So he might be ready for us.
Was it a giant pot? Wasn't it some sort of hydro creature?
Yeah, it was a hydropot.
It's a
Hydropot, yeah.
hydropot that he made. Yeah.
What is a Hydropot?
We don't know. He described a pot in the shape of a hydra, or a hydra in the shape of a pot. I don't know.
Did describe it to you. It's basically, you remember the pots had like legs that came out made of black sand. There was sort of like a giant central pot with other pots as like created with black sand. It's gonna be a bad time. Those pots suck.
Yeah,
Hard.
they did.
Well, I'd like to try. My plan is that once we've defeated the preacher and fulfilled our oaths to each other by returning our loved ones home, my plan was to simply give this ring over to the Six Eyes as a down payment on our loan. So, the sooner we get it working and get this done, or have a tool to help get it done, the sooner we can find ourselves done with all of this.
Well, if you need our help defeating an earth elemental, then it sounds like we should go with you to the Vakar.
My thanks.
Very well. So the four of you march over to the Vicar.
I mean, Eli can come too if he wants to help.
Yeah, he wouldn't. If he's not being paid to go, he's not going to go.
I mean, what's he want for his time?
How much?
Yeah.
He'll say 20 gold for the day.
Fuck yeah. I'll pay him.
All right, then. Let's go.
I have a feeling that we're not going to like each other very much, but if I can pay him to write things for me.
Yeah, he's very much, like, very sure of himself, treading that line between confident and cocky. But you've seen evidence that, you know, he's got some skill to him. So you arrive at the Vicar, and when you enter through the same way you entered before, you see there's actually a couple of people about sweeping up, and like looks like maybe beginning to get it ready again. They look like they're sort of like there's a couple builders in, like fixing the stands and, you know, making general repairs, people cleaning up, getting rid of the weird lizard snacks that Makud ate. And when you walk into the center of the arena, you do not see a worm carcass, nor any evidence of Keinladen.
Shit.
Can we ask one of the workers?
There's like a young guy, he's just kind of hammering in, you know, some nails and some wood, like strengthen one of the support beams. Like looks up at you, brushes the sweat from his brow. What can I do for you?
There was a wizard that was staying here, a man, elemental named Laden.
Oh, yeah, I remember. He wasn't allowed to stay. We had to reset the building, so I think, I think he went off. Not sure
Do you
where.
know where? Oh,
I'm not sure where, but he said he was going to stay in the city, so he'll be somewhere. Maybe try the inns? I don't know.
all right. Thank you.
Welcome. Shrugs. Goes back to his work.
Could I do like just an investigation roll to like find information like in the city about him? Like look like just, rather than like role playing, you know, talking to every innkeeper in town. You know, just we have X amount of hours, and I'm gonna try to see if I can find some
Find me an
information.
investigation.
Sweet. 20.
Yes, you ask around, and you eventually find a vendor who has been selling like some pottery tools and that sort of thing. Who says he made a delivery to a filthy-looking wizardy type who's staying at the Shalfidi.
To the Chalfady.
And you remember this is Thelha and others in the good friends of yours. And so when you arrive, their faces get very bright and happy, and they say, and Thelha says, "Oh, hello! We haven't seen you in ages."
Yes, good to see you as well. I hope you've been well.
We have, and yourselves?
Fine. Declan says after sort of a weighted pause.
Yeah. There's like this. We are doing okay. From Abrashmina.
We are looking for who we believe to be one of your guests. A wizard by the name of... What was his name again?
Klein Latin.
Kleinladen?
Kind Laden, but yeah.
Intentionally butchered.
Okay.
the name.
Fair.
Yeah.
And you see her face kind of falls, and she sighs, and she goes, yes, I know him.
Is he still here?
He is probably arguing with the other one.
The other one?
Yes,
Tolex? No, not Tolex.
Yarnex.
Yorenix. I thought he
The
would
black.
afford the Shalfadi. Did he find work?
He came back with money.
You do not seem happy about this.
Don't I? She gives you like a sort of like, yep, type of grin. For some reason, Keinlarden chose the room next to Yornex's. You know where it is.
The same one?
Pardon?
The same one? Sorry, that was a yawn.
Yornex chose the same room. Keinlarden took the one next to it.
Yeah, that's like Abrashmin. She said, you know where it is. And Abrashmina goes, he has the same one.
Yes.
Okay.
So you like head up and you hear like some kind of fairly muffled shouting. And it sounds like, if you had to guess, the two men are leaning out of their respective windows into the street and shouting at each other.
Oh, God, I hate people like that.
And then you hear the sound of a pot smashing.
Just give everybody a quick look, like, all right. I guess knock on the door.
Which one?
Keinladen's room?
Okay. So Keinlarden's is the room on the left, and you hear the shouting stop, and then you hear footsteps, the door opens, and you see a very ragged-looking wizard. He is sort of short, skinny, got these sandy-colored robes and like a 2-foot wide or radius, not even wide, wizard hat that is currently like propped up on a kind of set of drawers beside him. And he says, "Oh, it's you. You're early. I've not finished my creation yet, but getting there."
Master Keinladen, I don't believe that you and I have met. I wasn't there for that session, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't believe you and I have met, but I know you know my friends. I was wondering if I could impose upon you for a favor, and if not that, then maybe some information.
Right.
Be willing to pay you for your services, of course.
Right.
I am in need, it's a strange request, of an earth elemental. And I understand that you are a master of the arcane arts and skilled in the manipulation of minerals of the earth.
And you see him like turn and like speak very loudly into his room. Yes, I am a master of the arcane arts, and I am extremely skilled. And you hear Yornex like growling and scowling from the room next door.
Do you think that you could perhaps conjure one, or do you know a way in which I could find one?
An earth elemental?
Yes.
Yeah, I could probably do one of those, but well, not the easiest thing. Not just any wizard could do it, but I happen to be a particularly skilled one, so you're in luck there.
I am indeed. Could we do such a thing in the Vicar?
Well, the
Or
Vicar
someplace
is
out that city?
no
Go
longer
ahead.
welcome to the discerning scientist.
Perhaps we could go somewhere near the oasis.
Perhaps.
I suppose, but it's going to take a lot of time out of my research.
Well, as I said, I am willing to compensate you a fair price. Of course, I could, I suppose, and I'll sort of look to the other door, I could, I suppose, find another wizard, but I would rather work with you, so as long as we can come to a fair price.
Yes, you won't find many better wizards than me. And you hear, like, Yornek something vaguely insulting from the next room. But any old idiot can go and make money. And your friends already promised me that they'd fight my Hydra. But I do have another slightly more private favor you could do for me if you and if you do that for me, then I'll help you.
Bouchica, well.
I suppose it is fair of me to ask what the favor is before we accept.
Yes, I suppose. And he like leans in close so Yornex definitely can't hear, and he says, "Well, I'm not very good at talking to people, and there's someone who I admire very much, and I would very much like to go for a meal with them."
We would like to ask a woman out socially? Excuse me for presuming, but someone you're interested in.
Someone, yes.
Who would this be?
He sort of like blushes slightly. He's like, I don't actually know his name, but I saw him with you. He's handsome, tall, dark, has a bird.
Oh,
Dude.
Makud was about to go, "Oh, that is very kind," but then shuts up.
My friend, simply for the joy of seeing you both alight with love, I would introduce you. I would even play your Cupid. So consider that favor done, regardless of this one.
Well, thank you. And he's like smiling broadly and he's like blushing happily. Yes, well, I'd be happy to try and kill you with an earth elemental.
You have our thanks. I am afraid, though, if you could extend yourself to allowing us to do this thing today, it would actually aid us in our private endeavors a great deal. And you have my, if possible.
He looks over his shoulder, and you see as he looks over his shoulder, there's like an encroaching pile of sand that's black and slowly seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the room.
Okay.
Sure, why not? Slams his door. But I think before we go any further, we'll end it there because I know Dan's got to get away at around 2ish. So we can do farming earth elementals for magic item upgrades next week.